Hi, David, the fascinating stuff in the first two parts there. You were talking in the current, so you're still doing the football, the high rolling football syndicates, but you've got other current projects. You want to tell us a bit about them?
Yeah, so in the last couple of years, I've switched my attention a little bit to more operating projects within gambling. So we launched a couple of cryptocurrency casinos, which is an industry that I'm very interested in. And then we've also been looking to build out software, build our own casino and sports betting software with a partner of mine who's extremely talented developer. And then I've been very interested for a long time in Africa and the African gaming markets. One thing that's always appealed to me about Africa is the pace at which it's growing. Not just in the gambling, but economically. People think it's there's a lot of poor countries in Africa, and that's undeniably true. But the pace of economic growth that a lot of these economies are seeing is pretty rapid. Way faster than industrial revolutions that went on in the past in European countries. So I've had my eyes on it for a long time. I think the gambling markets there are really interesting because typically I've seen that the gambling industry, particularly in Europe, has been very hard to innovate. I've seen lots of good ideas of gambling products and projects, which I've thought, well, that's a great idea, or that's something brand new or very clever, but has never really worked. And I think the reason for that is mostly that whatever happens with gambling in Europe, people just mostly want to have a six-fold acca on the football on a Saturday and watch Jeff Stelling, or they want to have 80 quid at 9-2 on the next in Wolverhampton. That's just how people have been gambling for 2,000 years, and I don't think people have really any interest in changing. I'd say maybe Betfair and DraftKings are the only two sort of innovative betting products that have come along in the past however many years and have actually made any sort of meaningful impact. There's been lots of innovation inside the current products, bet builders and cash outs, and I guess spread betting was a good one. But I think Africa being sort of mature markets, there could actually be an opportunity for some really good innovation, or at the very least, clever takes on existing gambling products over there. So I've been very interested, and I've started some projects in East Africa to hopefully try and introduce some slightly different gambling products over there, lower value products, with a little bit more emphasis on social gaming and social gambling, and that's a project that I'm really quite passionate about, and very excited about.
Wouldn't it be just as easy to encourage them all to bet like people bet over here? Because they can't win, can they? Betting like that. So you've got a guaranteed formula to win money off of your customers if they do 6 match hackers and things like that.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. From being over there and spending some time there, I've seen everybody bets in 10, 11, 12-fold accumulators, 80 cents to try win 30 grand. And yeah, I'll be happy to do that as well. But I'm particularly excited about trying some slightly different things over there and seeing if we can build some really cool things. And this is brand new to me. I've never done anything like this before, so this is a fun, interesting thing.
Do you have to go over? Have you been, or do you just do it all remotely?
I've spent some time over there. I've been in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, just trying to learn a little bit more about the cultures over there, the different markets, the type of people. The bureaucratic landscape is something that is very interesting to get involved in. But yeah, it's fascinating, really. I'm very lucky that I've been able to do that, and that's something I'm quite happy to be involved in.
There's something else you mentioned earlier, which is quite often, from a layman's point of view, some people dismiss it, other people really go for it. Crypto.
Yeah.
Now give us a little, in a nutshell, why I mean, do you think it is something that's going to be the future?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm tremendously bullish on crypto and have been for ages. I mean, my introduction to Bitcoin was completely by accident. I think it was maybe 2017, and I genuinely can't remember who we were working with or what exactly the project was, but we had a project somewhere in a difficult location where we'd won some money and we're having real trouble to bring the money back. And we'd managed to cobble most of the funds back, and I think left outstanding was about $30,000, which was basically what me and my partner were owed from the project. So everyone else had been paid and we were just waiting to get our money. And after a month of, can you send it here? No, we could send it there. Well, I can't take it there. All this back and forth. The guy said to me, I sent you some Bitcoin. And I'm like, what the hell's Bitcoin? I don't really know. I'd sort of heard of it. Sounded a bit dodgy. But he said, it's pretty easy. Start a Coinbase account and I'll just send you it. Then at least you've got it. And I thought, well, I mean, if experience has taught me anything, when people are trying to pay you, don't be saying no. So I opened a Coinbase account, got sent this Bitcoin. I was on holiday actually in Portugal at the time. And I said to my friend, we've been paid, we got paid that money, we got Bitcoin. And he's like, oh, okay. How do we turn that into real money? And well, I don't have a clue, but at least we have it. So I'm on holiday with my missus, I'll deal with it when I get back. And then 2 days later, I was just on the balcony looking out over the golf course and randomly had this compulsion to check the Bitcoin thing on the Coinbase app. I logged in and we'd been sent 48 Bitcoin for somewhere around 30 grand. And all of a sudden it was worth like 50,000. And I'm like, 40% in 2 days. So now my interest is properly peaked in this thing. And I started to look into it. But that really got my juices flowing from two angles. One, it solved an actual problem that we had with our business, which was we had legitimate trouble to take money out of difficult countries. And then secondly, obviously, it'd gone up 40% in 48 hours. So from a speculative asset point of view, I was interested.
Now, that leads me nicely on to, this is all stuff we've talked about before, you specialise in payments. So I'm assuming that means getting paid from your winnings or whatever. So can you explain a bit about what that entails?
Yeah, so I mean, I've built a reputation of being a semi-specialist when it comes to payments. I mean, I have no history in finance or banking or anything like this at all. But again, from working with big betting groups, the big issue was always, yeah, great, you found an opportunity to bet the Premier League for big stakes in Singapore or Israel or South Africa or wherever. But they would say, how do we get paid when we win? And I would think, well, that's a damn sensible question. I have no idea. So it wasn't only to find the opportunities, it was also to find out, okay, let's say we win, how would we get paid? And through luck, networking, I don't know what it was, I was able to build like a pretty decent network of people that could help facilitate moving this kind of gambling money around. And then people started to say, oh, well, you did a great job with that. Actually, we've got this thing in some other country. Do you reckon you could maybe try and find out how we'd get that money home? And then we'd be able to do it. And slowly, I would build up a good network, and it gave me access to opportunities that, maybe I didn't wholly deserve because I could bring these kind of connections to the table. But cryptocurrency was the huge win for me in this. And I started using it to move gambling money in 2017. And at this point, basically none of the big boys would touch it. So I started to handle all, I said well, I'll do it all for you. You tell me where it is, tell me where it wants to go, and I'll handle it with the crypto. And I handled from 2017 over the next 18 months, maybe solid 9 figures of crypto transactions for various people.
You said you're still on the balcony and it gone up 40%. So one assumes that it could have dropped 40% and you've got 9 figures. That you've
Oh
got,
yeah.
you've got. I mean, you know, it quite must be a bit hairy. You're making it sound like it's just finding it on the floor.
Well, I mean, I never. This was only from like a transactional point of view, not a like speculative point of view. I mean, I would always, you know, if we were handling, you know, 7-figure clips of crypto moving around, I would always be very keen to make sure that I wasn't exposed. I mean, I learned the lesson actually once. You know, we held quite a lot of Bitcoin, me and a partner of mine, for about 36 hours on behalf of a betting group, and I think we lost about 300 grand in that 36 hours personally, and you know, that was entirely on us to cover that. So that was a lesson that was learned. Don't leave yourself exposed to the thing. I mean, it's one thing to buy it because you think it's going to go up, and then you get the opportunity to sell it whenever you want. But when you know that you're going to receive it at 9 a.m. on a Monday and you have to sell it at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, you know, you are flipping coins for money that you shouldn't be flipping coins for. So
Has it ever spun around that you've copped 300 grand or similar?
yeah, so we did have a semi-win in the back. I think people always say it evens out. I think it genuinely did. I think I'm probably almost exactly level lifetime for the ups and downs.
Now, tell us about Luxon paying coin rivet.
So Luxon is a banking group, in the UK, whose the founders I've known for a long time. They specialise in what's called high-risk payments. The high-risk industries are gambling, being a classic example. Well, gambling and cryptocurrency considered two of the highest risk industries. Because of my background working with all big gambling companies and processing payments on their behalf, I started to work with Luxon very closely. I invested in the business when it formed. It's really focused around the poker industry and the gambling industry a little bit more, but mostly focused on poker. And it really is unfairly difficult to move gambling funds around the world. Most big banks will consider it just too high risk to deal with. And this isn't, you know, to say that there's anything wrong with the transactions. The way that a big bank like Barclays or HSBC would look at that is, yeah, I'm sure this guy is a great guy. He says he's a professional poker player. He very well might be. But like, why the hell should we take the risk? Like, what benefit to us? So you become sort of ostracized as a gambler. Your money's sort of treated like it's kind of dirty or akin to like drug dealers or terrorists. And there just isn't any need for it. And what Luxon has done fantastically is it's managed to build really good banking relationships with the big banks, where it's been able to explain to those banks, these are real people with compliant money, and all they want to do is just send and receive their money. And it's been a service that's gone down very, very well with the gambling world. And Luxon's doing great and growing, and I'm very passionate about that business.